Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Hey everybody, we ended up missing and losing about 5 minutes of banter at the beginning of our podcast this week, so I apologize for that. So you will jump into our podcast right after this short recording, an intro that I'm doing right now, kind of right in the middle of a discussion, but it's a good breaking point. Either way, we apologize for that. We're going to check the audio equipment next week. So I just want to give a quick shout out before we formally start the podcast with a shout out to our sponsors. So one big thanks to BIM Smith. We've been using BIM Smith almost daily now at the firm since they became a sponsor and since we became aware of them. So they're great. Go to bimsmith.com for all of your Revit content needs. They do the coolest stuff. BIM Smith is a completely free platform for Revit users. It has 3 main applications: BIM Smith Market, BIM Smith Forge, and My BIM Smith. BIM Smith Forge is an awesome time saver for Revit users. It's a cloud configurator for Revit systems families, meaning you can create entire wall, floor, ceiling, and roofing assemblies layer by layer. You have no choice. You have the choice to build a system with generic products or actual manufacturer data, or a combination of the two. Forge makes dealing with types, tags, and textures easy and intuitive, and it's completely free. So again, go to bimsmith.com. And thanks to them for sponsoring this podcast. Second sponsor is Enscape. So we've just put together a really cool fly-through on our Project Mark II using Enscape, and I can't recommend them enough. For the renderings you can produce with a reduced need in computing power. Enscape3D.com is the way to go. Go check them out. If you aren't trying them and you're using Revit, I don't know what you're doing with your life. So, and with that, here we go with Al Gore and Lance Cayko of Inside the Firm.
Meaning, a lot of people want to get working on a project right away. But if you set up the project wrong, you'll pay later. Meaning, when it's time to finally get everything, the way it should be, it's going to be twice as hard. So you might as well train them in your system first, so that they start off on the right footing rather than the wrong footing. Again, if you don't have a system for Revit training, start at RevitRocketship.com and go from there. Develop your own. But what I was getting at was that landing a project isn't essentially a function of like that moment. It was a function of what we've done in the past to set our firm up to be valuable but efficient and to have good references.
Yeah. So how many references did you send out that day?
5.
So 5 references. What was crazy was in a way, I sort of forgot about it. Like I hear about this. I didn't expect to see all of those nearly all of those references. The ones that some of them were Alex's, more or less his clients, and some of them were more or less my clients or more or less my builders. Even though we still go back and forth and everything, but I didn't expect to see them that quickly. And then when they saw me, like, hey, I got a call about that project. Did you get it?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, we did. Thanks. I kind of had to be on my feet, quickly on my feet. Like, oh yeah, thanks. By the way, really appreciate that. Et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. And what's so funny? After it was all said and done, I was like, oh, there was a couple more references that I could have sent that I, didn't even think about. Parker guys, they would have just, blah 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 blah, went crazy.
Can I leapfrog the next bullet point then?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, good.
This is 49% your firm.
Yeah, exactly. It is 49% of my firm. So, on that note, having references kind of leads me to the importance of reviews, and I've talked about this before. So, last year we got this conglomerate award, which was really cool, and it's basically the top-rated architecture firm in Colorado, and they took a conglomerate of all of our reviews online, our reviews on our Facebook business page, our reviews on Google, our reviews on Thumbtack, and then we have Houzz and a couple other places. Well, the same thing happened for Houzz. just this last week. We were awarded the best in service for 2019 for our area. And what was I just got a call from one of our favorite builders, Brian Tinker of Tinker Homes, and he called me to just congratulate me because what I did was I put together a press release for it. And I want to peel back the onion a little bit on that press release and how everything led up to it. So there's two things here. Because what I ended up telling Brian is it's kind of smoke and mirrors. It's real, but it's also kind of smoke and mirrors. And he goes, "What do you mean?" And so this is hopefully this is a tip for people who are in smaller markets, because I think you can own the market if you just play your cards right, and you can look a lot bigger than you are, and also kind of build your resume up from the ground up, literally kind of out of nowhere. So in our market, where we operate, specifically our headquarters, all the other architecture firms within a 15-mile radius, I don't even think you know this, Al, 15 to 30-mile radius, don't really have a house presence at all.
No.
So when we finally jumped on the house wagon, not the bandwagon.
It's kind of surprising because it's not there's some decent firms around.
Boulder, there's Boulder. Arc 11 is amazing.
Yeah, but I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to give them free press. But they have some people. There's even that one in Prospect. They should be on house.
Yeah, right. It's where everybody goes for residential stuff. A lot of the times anyway. So what's awesome is nobody else has a presence on there. That's awesome for us. Yeah. So what we did is we got our portfolio built up. We even did a paid subscription for a while. We kind of got one client out of it. It didn't really work well. But the fundamental thing that we did was we asked as many clients as we felt comfortable with that we knew would most likely give us a 5-star review, and literally told them and sent them. I spent a day or two doing this, getting these email templates set up for them. And it would kind of be the same thing over and over again, asking all these various clients that we've established and had over the past decade, and said, "Will you please help us? We're launching, we're rebranding ourselves and redoing a remarketing, and have them give us reviews on all these different websites." And so what House does is they go, "Wow, look at these guys. Number one, they're the only one that doing anything with our website. Number two, look at all these reviews they got. You guys get the award."
Yeah.
And then number three, the beautiful thing was, then they send you. So this is why I wouldn't recommend paying for House. Don't do it. You maybe try it once in your career. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it still works for you in your particular market or whatever. But at least have a presence on there, and at least spend a couple days of your professional practice once a year, or maybe once every 3 years or something like that. Because once you do it once, you'll have a base of reviews. But make a template for yourself, an email template that you can send out to a couple dozen of your clients that you've performed well with, and you still have a good relationship. And nobody's mad at each other or anything, obviously. And get yourself built up on there. Because if if nobody else is taking advantage of internet marketing in your area, man, you can just leapfrog everybody. And so then when House announced that to us, they actually gave you a really nice template for your press release.
Yeah.
So I spent the morning, my morning marketing, doing some self-marketing, published an article, because you can do these. Even LinkedIn allows you to write these quick articles now. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Published that. So I reworked their press release template, put it up on LinkedIn, put it up on Facebook. I thought about sending it to local press, but we already got some local press recently. And then I got obviously people are paying attention. I got a call from our favorite contractor, congratulations and stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's why I want to go from references to recommendations.
Yeah.
It's so important. I just think, man, you really should have an internet presence. And it kind of ties back to how this client contacted Alex. I asked Alex, how did they know about us? And Alex goes, I think it was just Google. And then the videos, right?
Yep, and then he knew about the videos. So we have videos. Our firm is f9productions.com. I think there's a little tab that says Inside F9, and you can see if you want to see an example. I'm going to throw up some objections and then some answers to the objections. One is, well, I won't get many clients from House. Maybe true. But you still have that best of House in your area. But they'll say, well, it's not really real because, there's no one within my 15 to 20 mile radius that I'm competing against. Yet. So what that is going to mean is that, okay, someone might, you might mention to it, they might see that you got this award. It might even be in your local newspaper or just this mention, whatever. So then all of a sudden you get one or two clients trickle from that, and then it builds on itself. So just because you're, the first one to market or, the first one getting it doesn't mean that that's not a good platform. It means that you might be putting in the groundwork now for the future, just like circling back to what I'm talking about, references and setting up your firm efficiently. So it's groundwork. You got ground and pound.
Yeah, and again, don't forget how you can create your own press. Like you're your own little media machine all day long. I think the more you can do that and harness that power, the better off you're going to be. The more people are going to know about who you are, and when they go to just do a simple Google search, make it happen.
Yeah, I want to rebring this. I've already talked about it once, but I thought it was brilliant too. Another way. So do you remember Mark LePage? For like a month, he must have had a media blitz where he put up like kitchens that him and his wife and his firm has done, and it just convinced me, like, if I ever would if I was ever remodeling a kitchen or had any questions, like, this is who is in mind, right? And Mark LePage is over in the East Coast somewhere, right? But let's say I was over in the East Coast. He's occupied such a strong place in my mind because of like all those awesome kitchens. If I was over there, it would be like, oh yeah, no, he does great kitchens. I bet you he does great all architecture, houses. Absolutely. So, I would heed your advice and know that you can make your own media and you can do little campaigns,
And here's another example. So we just signed on this is a repeat client now. And we love repeat clients because you don't have to do the marketing. Marketing's already been done. All the tough, they're just going to come back to you. And then if you do another good job, they're going to refer you to somebody else. So this gal actually, she signed on with us again. We're going to do another tiny house. It's a design build. It is a mobile dog massage parlor. Super interesting little piece, category. She referred us to her sister. We're doing her addition at the same time. And I go, well, how do you? I don't even think I remember ever talking to you about us doing tiny houses. She just go, oh, I follow you guys on social media. I see what you guys are doing, and I love your guys' work. She goes, I just wouldn't have thought to go to anybody else. And she goes, you guys' work is so good. Your tiny houses. She goes, I didn't. There's other people who are my competitors who are taking like food trucks and converting them. She's like, I want custom. I want this to be above and beyond, and she's sold. So even if you don't see those dividends right away, everybody, right? We live in the age of the internet and likes and comments, and we want instant gratification. And so know that there's still this very long game to play. Just keep plugging away at it.
Nice. Speaking of the long game, we're building our development, and today we have an open house in our office. So we have renderings up, we have boards, we'll have a fly-through going, we'll have information about insurance, how to get a mortgage, all that other stuff. The thing that's the lesson, the reason we're sharing is because, one, this podcast is partly about architect and a developer, but just to let you know what we're doing in real time is that we are marketing one unit way before they're done to get a feel for the market, to get feedback, to see how it goes, to see if we need to adjust anything and all that. And that is happening in a couple hours. So I think next week we'll be able to report back on that.
Hopefully we have an offer and some earnest money in the bank. That's what I want.
There you go.
But we'll see. We'll see. So there has been good inquiries. We have 8 so far, which is really incredible for an unbuilt piece of work. And I think it's only going to get stronger as we enter the hot season of the market, and then we have sticks up and people can walk around.
Yep.
So cool. All right. It's been a couple weeks, but Nick is back with Nick Reads.
Awesome.
Hello, best friends. I hope you had a great couple of weeks. Reading. So instead of architecture without architects, what we are interested in is engineering without engines. That it is possible to make buildings that are less dependent on machinery. The more sophisticated technology we deploy in the design process, the less dependent our designs will be on corrective technology in their afterlives. To us, this means that buildings are not just informed by culture of a place, but also by the climate that they are built in. Architecture is obviously influenced by countless aspects beyond climate and geography. Program, function, bureaucracy, economy, technology, unions, politics, materials, culture, preservation, public opinion, logistics, etc. But no matter where you build, two aspects will always be inescapable: the environmental and the social. At its core, architecture is always an effort to make the existing environmental conditions more hospitable to human life. Hot to cold, an odyssey of architectural adaptation. A question: burritos or chimichangas? Toodles.
That was the layup. It's easily burritos.
Why?
Because burritos you can do much more with. You can have breakfast burritos. You can have chicken burritos. You can have steak burritos. You can have chorizo burritos.
Yeah, I've never heard of breakfast chimichangas.
Exactly.
But isn't a chimichanga just a fried burrito? So couldn't you just make a burrito and fry it? Your wife is a Latina. You should know this.
Okay, burrito is faster to mouth, though. So burrito wins.
I think a burrito's the way to go. I'm
Yeah.
with you. Yeah, it's more versatile. I can agree with that.
Yeah,
I thought
you
he was
can't
gonna say
hold
burritos.
the chimichanga in your. Well, you can if you wrap it. I don't. It's a great question.
I thought he was going to say burrito or taco and start a civil war.
Yeah, but we can't handle in America right now. We don't need that kind of pressure.
We need exactly. We need to take down the temperature in America.
Yeah,
100%.
Ratchet it up.
Yeah, exactly. What?
I was gonna say, should we bring in the guys?
I think we should bring in the guys. What are we bringing them in for?
A.R.E. Jeopardy. All right, question number 1. According to IRC R310.2.1, the minimum opening area for emergency openings shall have a net clear opening of not less than blank square feet. A, 2.5, B, 3.7, C, 5.4, D, 5.7. A, 2.5, B, 3.7, C, 5.4, D, 5.7. Okay, we have D, D, C, D. It is D. So I need a score. I need something to score down. Here we go.
There's a marker.
5.7. Yeah. Okay, question number 2. According to IRC R311, 0.7.10.1, the headroom for spiral stairways shall be no less than A, 6 foot 6 inches, B, 6 foot 8 inches, C, 7 foot, D, 7 foot 6 inches. A, 6 foot 6 inches, B, 6 foot 8 inches, C, 7 foot, D, 7 foot 6 inches. Okay, hold them up. B, B, A, B. It is A. Who had A? Just okay, we're back to tied. Lance Cayko, take over, break this tie.
A is 6'6".
6'6".
Nice. All right, number 3. According to the 2015 International Residential Code, how far must an operable window be away from the exhaust of a range hood? A, 1 foot. B, 2 feet. C, 3 feet. D, 4 feet. This is an actual question that came up in one of our projects today that Ross is not here to partake in, so it's a surprise to these guys.
No, it's crazy. I didn't even know that this would be a rule.
I didn't either. And
take away our
there was a
license.
slight issue with the project because of it.
Oh,
but there's
amazing.
a workaround. Thank God. Wow, we have answers? No repeating? Okay. B, 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 and C. Correct answer, C, 3 feet.
So what's the workaround? And Is there a reason why it needs to be 3 feet?
So what happened was there was a vent hood that was spec'd to be directly vented out of the wall, right? So imagine a vent hood over a range.
Oh, it could come back in.
It could go back in, exactly.
Yeah.
It could go back in. Yep, that's exactly it. So what they had to do is they had to, instead of venting straight out, they had to vent up and get it 3 feet away, right? Wouldn't work. So yeah. So if there are windows that are next, let's say you're in a kitchen, people are like, "Oh man, I really want to see out while I'm cooking." For some reason, I don't know. They'll look left or right, and you have windows left or right. Make sure they're 3 feet away or fixed, and then you're in good shape.
Yep. Awesome. Okay.
Now you know.
Question
You guys
4.
all know. Question 4. What is the unit of sound absorption equivalent to the absorption of 1 square foot of open window known as? A, decibel, B, Sabin, C, volume, D, sound cubit. What is the unit of sound absorption equivalent to the absorption of 1 square foot of open window known as? A, decibel, B, Sabin, C, volume, D, sound cubit?
I would be guessing.
You would be guessing?
I would be guessing.
Sir. All right. A, D, A, and B. The correct answer is B, Sabin.
Wow, there we go. We have
3-1,
clear winner.
3-1.
Mr. Bus.
Mr.
So,
Bus.
if you enjoyed this, I would recommend going to RevitRocketship.com where you can hear more of us and learn Revit. Also get the creativity code. It's blowing up on Twitter. Did you see that?
I did. We got tagged. Somebody tweeted and tagged at Alex and I that they were reading the book. So check out the book and
It's just exploding.
tweet and tag us. Yeah, one person finally. We're famous. All that. So thanks for listening. If you haven't yet, join the Facebook group. We have a closed group that's linked to the Facebook page inside the firm. So if you go check out the Facebook page, if you go check out the group, join that. You can ask Alex and I more questions. We can have discussions in there, and we'll see you next week.